It's me, Tracy, with Adventures in Full-Time RVing. Beautiful, beautiful weather. Such a beautiful day. I just thought that it was a nice time to come out and do a little taping. But I thought I would share with you what my full-time adventure has looked like so far. I told you about the reason that we got started. And the reason that we got started was because I had already been disabled and my husband became disabled. And in that, we actually ended up losing our home and our business. But we had been planning for a long time to do full-time RVing. We just planned for it to look a little bit different. But at that moment in time, we looked at each other and said, all right, if the universe wants us to go early, then we'll just go early. And that's how we ended up heading out on the road. Took what we had left, got ourselves a very cheap little camper, leaked like a sieve, and did some research, found a campground, and headed south. Now, many years later, we've had a lot of adventures. We've got a different camper, a different truck. We know a lot more. We definitely weren't, we were ill-prepared when we first left. We didn't know what questions to ask a campground. We didn't know what made a campground a good campground. We didn't know what to look for. We didn't know what to expect. We'd never actually even slept in a camper. Never gone camping. We weren't big outdoorsy people. So, like I said, we were kind of ill-prepared, but we both knew that we really wanted to be full-time RVers. We just had planned to do it at retirement. Well, we kind of retired early, so that's what we did. So far, we have lived in a camper in Maine, because that's where we're from. We did try to heat it the first winter we were up there. Middle of winter, we decided we were leaving. You do not want to try and heat a camper in Maine in the middle of winter. We were going through a 30-pound tank of propane every 2 days. That's how much we couldn't keep the camper warm enough. And I was still wrapped up in blankets and several layers of clothes and freezing, and it was just terribly uncomfortable. And that was in our smaller camper. And then we went to Georgia. And in Georgia, we were in 3 different campgrounds. Every one of them good for different reasons. And every one of them had their pitfalls as well. When we first left, it was my husband, myself, both of our boys, and our oldest son's girlfriend. Since then, our oldest son and his girlfriend have moved back to Maine. And I don't even think they're together anymore. But so it's just me and my husband and my son, my youngest son. And we quite enjoy having him with us, although soon he's going to be moving out as well, and it's going to just be my husband and myself. After our 3 campgrounds in Georgia, we decided to try out some work camping. And at some point I'll do a little video on work camping and what that looks like. There are actually several work campers here where we are. And the benefits of work camping and some of the downfalls or pitfalls of it as well. We'll talk about that later. But enough to say that what we were doing basically was we were working for a campground. We decided to look for a work camping experience. And what that is working for a campground that it covers your rent and your utilities and things like that. We found one out in Oklahoma. And since we'd never been west of the Mississippi, we thought, oh, this will be great fun. So we headed out there. We called and made sure that they had a spot that they would, allow us to come out and work with them. And we headed out there. And we spent, I want to say 3 or 4 months. It was in the summer in Oklahoma. That was about the smartest thing I've ever done, said very sarcastically. But we spent 3 or 4 months there cleaning cabins and getting to know the neighbors and enjoying our time and seeing things we hadn't seen before. I saw a roadrunner that was so cool. And then when we left Oklahoma, the work camping opportunity evaporated, basically. They weren't as busy as they thought they were going to be. The owners had some illnesses in the family, so that kind of dried up for us. So we decided to go and stay with our friends in Massachusetts for a summer. That was an awful lot of fun. We stayed up there for, I want to say 6 months, and just as the weather started to get cold again, we picked up and left and went back to Georgia, where we stayed for quite some time. until my husband finally got his disability. When that finally went through, we, yay, bought a new camper and a different truck, and we went to Indiana for a couple of weeks and visited with an old high school friend of mine, and then we went to Missouri for a summer, well, for a couple of months anyway, and spent some time with another old high school friend of mine and his family. And then we went to Arkansas just as a temporary stopover while we were deciding what to do. We were headed for Texas because I had seen a campground there that I thought would be interesting and I'd like to go check out. Good prices. It was like $240 a month, everything included, and supposedly had good Wi-Fi. Of course, they all say that. You don't always have good Wi-Fi. While we were in Arkansas deciding where we were headed and working our way towards Texas, a friend of mine had put up some information that he needed some help here in Florida. So we decided, okay, well, we'll go help him. And we turned ourselves around and went 1,100 miles across country to come down and spend some time helping him and getting him back on his feet. We were supposed to be here for 6 months. That was my flat-out one rule that I set right up front, that we were only going to be here 6 months, and we ended up in Florida for 2 years. And now we're moving on again, and I'm really excited about it. You know, this particular stopover was accidental. The truck broke down. I didn't even know this place existed, and it's one of the best finds that I've come across. This is the fun of full-time RVing, the excitement of it. There's always something different. There's always something new. Even if my plans don't necessarily go as planned, something good comes out of it, and I've had such wonderful experiences along the way. You know, we've had a couple of breakdowns along the road, and usually they're minor, but I've met some angels on earth who've stopped and helped us when I really didn't know where I was going to do, or where I was going to go, or what I was going to do. We wound up here where I've met some just amazing people. You know, the folks here behind us are just wonderful. The folks across the street have been amazing helps. I got to spend time with one of my favorite people here in the park today. She took me out shopping, thrift shopping, and I got this great shirt. I'm so happy. And that was a lot of fun for me because I had been stuck here since the truck broke down, and I will be until we, get everything taken care of in that direction. Ooh, and good news, we are going to be getting that fixed very soon. But we're still going to stay here until the end of the snowbird season because I'm quite enjoying spending time with people. Last night we had karaoke here at the park, and they always get me up there singing. We have bingo on Tuesday nights, which is a whole lot of fun. I don't remember if it's every Tuesday or every other Tuesday, but I know we have it most Tuesdays, so it's been a lot of fun. I've learned some new card games. And that's what full-time RVing looks like. It looks like meeting people like my wonderful neighbor here behind me. You make a lot of really good friends. And yeah, sometimes it's temporary. Sometimes you end up in contact with these people forever. A lot of them have added me on Facebook, or we've got each other's email. And, I plan to come back down here and visit with these folks, if not every year, every other year. Sometimes I just go and we find parks that are a little bit out of the way. As long as they have Wi-Fi, I'm good with that. We did find one park that didn't have any Wi-Fi. I wasn't so good with that one. Great park, wonderful park, no Wi-Fi. So that one we had to leave within a month. A month without Wi-Fi nearly killed me. RVers are a great community. And that's really what it is. It's a community of people who enjoy spending time with each other in nice weather. P.S. Nice weather. It is January 12th, and it was 90 degrees today. How much you gotta love that. It was actually a little warmer than I expected today. It was beautiful outside, and there's a nice breeze, but it's not so windy that I couldn't sit out here and talk to you folks today, so... yeah, and that's what full-time RVing looks like to me. Now, there are some people that need to work while they RV. Of course, my husband and I are both disabled, so we have our disability check. But, some people need to work full-time or even part-time while they're traveling. We're going to go into that in another video about work camping and different work opportunities that you can find as you travel that will help you to be able to get by and live the lifestyle you want to live. Listen, guys, life is short, and you never know when the next day you may not be there for the next day. Your eyes may not open. You know, today may be my last day here. I'm going to enjoy it. And that's what I want to do. I want to live every day as if it's my last. I want to live every day and enjoy it. And at the same time, you know, my husband says to me, well, we still have to plan for the future. And he's right. We do plan for the future. But that doesn't change the fact that I am living moment to moment and I am enjoying my life. And what is the sense of living if you can't enjoy your life? And for me, enjoying my life is traveling. Not everybody likes that. Some people need to live in a stick-built home. Some people need to have a stable piece of property. Some people like to live in apartments. Some people like that normal 9 to 5. And some people have to do it. And I understand that because I had to do it for a lot of years. My husband had to do it for a lot of years. But the more I travel, the more I've discovered that there are other ways. There are other ways to live that I never, ever would have expected. And I hope that my son, from traveling with us, our youngest son, anyway, because he's traveled so much with us, has gotten a feel for the fact that there are other ways to live and that you can live your life happy without having to spend 20 or 30 or 40 years at a job you hate or in a lifestyle that you don't care for. And if you're living, even if you don't want a full-time RV like me, even if you don't want a snowbird like my neighbors, if you're living in a life that's making you unhappy, that's unpleasant for you, that's uncomfortable for you, in a job that you can't stand, where you wake up every morning and you go, oh, I have to do this again, find another way. There are other ways, I promise. And, you know, I met a woman last night who was telling me about how, you know, she was married and they lived in a big, big house, and that she had to downsize from living in however many thousand square feet to the condo that she lives in now because of the divorce, where she lives in like 1,200 square feet. And she just can't even imagine downsizing into what I live in, which is under 500 square feet. It just blows her mind. And to me, you know, I remember that. I remember living in a big 5-bedroom house, 2 stories, and a full basement, and wondering, how am I going to go from this to this 30-foot camper? Of course, now I'm in a 36-foot, but at the time it was 30-foot. What do I give up? How do I give it up? And now I can't imagine any other way. I am happier now than I've ever been. And by letting go of those things that were unnecessary in my life and simplifying my life, I have less stress and more happiness. And even if you're not going to full-time RV, shouldn't that be the goal for everyone? To be happier, to live a life that brings you joy, to be able to wake up every morning and go, oh boy, what is today going to bring? Like I did this morning. I was so happy when I woke up this morning. It was just like, oh wow, I get this new thing to do and I'm so excited. And I think that I definitely want more of that in my life, and I really want more of that in every one of your lives too. So I wish that for all of you. I hope that you can find your dreams and what it is that makes you happy and go out and live it. All right, well, I will see you again very soon, and thanks again for joining me on Adventures in Full-Time RVing.